Good morning, American citizens. Again, here in Dallas, Texas, my name is Rachel Hooper, and I have another breaking news story for you. Today, Congress met to decide the fate of the remaining Manhattan citizens that have been left on the island, along with the million population of zombies that have taken over. As a precaution, the citizens of New York have been asked by FEMA to evacuate into surrounding states, cities, preferably with family, but FEMA has been working overtime to get them clean water and food and shelter as their homes are being displaced temporarily for who knows how long. As of right now, what we know is that this zombie disease has taken over 1 million people's lives, and still counting. There are still people in danger, as there is no real solution right now to save the remaining lives left on the island. However, there is government help. There is military personnel out there guarding the remaining citizens into hospitals as they are being found, and testing for the virus to make sure that the virus isn't spreading into the hospitals as well. But this has only been a temporary solution to be able to account for how many citizens are actually left on the island. Now, what Congress met for today was to decide the future in the next few weeks of what is going to happen. The main concern has been, if we don't contain this to a singular part of the world, what's going to happen to the rest of us? What's going to get into our water supply or come into our states, our cities, our families? What goes from being 1 million individual lives lost turns into the billions of people we have in this country. So what's next? What's going to happen? That's what Congress met about today. So as I read the verdict off of my prompt, I want you guys to sit here and just think, what would you do? What is the right thing for the country? I think we all have sat back and watched in awe as we couldn't have ever dreamed of any of this happening. We think of zombies and we put it in the same category as anything else fantasy, vampires, werewolves. But this is really happening, and I think people have underestimated the responsibility that the government's had to take on deciding, when is enough enough? When do they pull the plug? Do they walk away, or do they go out fighting for these people's lives that are still trapped on this island? Currently, there are a little under 600,000 lives still being trapped on the island, last counted. Residents have been instructed by military personnel to take refuge at the hospitals as per mentioned. They have sent the Coast Guard into the city to protect the remaining people and will continue to do so until a verdict has been met or until a decision has been made, which has happened today. We also know that an electric fence has been put up around hospitals that have refugees to help contain the healthy individuals inside and the zombie outside. So let's go over the verdict. I have it right here in front of me. It says Congress's ruling has decided to immediately start evacuation of the remaining citizens with aircraft. This is not going to be a quick process. They can only allow so many aircraft carriers into the state of emergency at a time to protect the military personnel and to protect the surrounding cities. Once the citizens have been evacuated, they will immediately go into quarantine for treatment and for testing to make sure that they are not a carrier for the disease, to make sure that this disease is contained, because the last thing we need is for it to be spread throughout the rest of the cities when currently it's on an island. The state of New York will remain isolated for 1 year. The displaced citizens will have to find somewhere else to live. FEMA will be helping with permanent locations, government assistance, food stamps, WIC for mothers, children, job placements, will all be assisted for 1 year to allow the government to work inside New York and Manhattan. And also it says here that Manhattan will be detonated in approximately 1 week after the remaining 600,000 individuals have been evacuated from the state of emergency. Is this a good decision? Has the government made the right decision? I think that this is the fail-safe for the government. They feel responsible and they don't want to pull the plug on 600,000 lives when over 1 million lives have already been lost. It is unfortunate that the citizens of New York will have to find different housing for over a year, but the alternative could be a lot worse. I think that as a individual that is only here to tell the truth and just report on what's happening, I don't think a better decision could be made. I think the government has done what the government feels like is necessary, and hopefully this will keep lives from being lost, which is the main focus here. No one could have foreseen what's happened over the last 3 weeks. 1 million lives in 3 weeks is the greatest number of lives ever lost in U.S. history in such a short amount of time. And it's unfortunate, but we have to look forward to the future. We have to look what is the next best move, which is saving the lives of the individuals not affected and containing this to an island and ending that island. It's sad for the people that won't have a home there. This is not just a piece of land. This is homes. This is a baby's first walk, and somewhere where a couple got married. But there are bigger fish in the sea. There's bigger things to be lost here, and we have to keep that in perspective. Here from Dallas, I'll keep reporting as the story grows, and as always, you can send in your questions. And from Dallas, Texas, good night, guys.